joined virtually by Honorable Adelosoye Maxwell Ademola. He's the Vice Chairman Ondo Southwest Lcda. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Honorable.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. So we're talking about something very important, strategies for creating realistic budgets and forecasts. But let's kick off with the first question this morning. What is in your perspective, what is your approach to creating a realistic budget for local development areas? What is the best approach for this?
Well, good morning once again. My name is Adelosoye Maxwell. I'm clear. Hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, absolutely. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, the strategy we adopt locally is simple. We get every stakeholders involved. The ministry, the career officers, and alongside us. So we'll look at that's how we prepare the budgets.
Okay.
So we gather previous data. We look at the past history, the projects that were supposed to be done before that were not done, that are in line with our goals. We bring everything together. So that is how we'll do it, basically.
Okay, but putting this side by side, how do you now ensure that the budget you are creating, is in line with the community's needs and priorities? How do you ensure this?
The most important thing when setting up a budget is having a clear goals. Every administration has a mandate. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we have a proper mandate, and at the local level, there are things expected of us. We can't be budgeting to build a overhead bridge when we have small roads, when we have health centers, when we have markets, to build. So whatever we are doing, it's in line with our core mandate, which is basically on the strategic development goals.
Okay.
So that is basically what we do.
Okay.
And of course, that will be in line with the goal of the governor, the goal of what the local people need, and what is in line with strategic development goals.
All right, so in this day and age where there are demands left, right, and center for accountability and transparency, what methods do you then use to track historical data and identify trends in spending and revenue generation?
Well, there is a tracking mechanism that involves just beyond apart from, these days and age, like you said, technology is involved. Definitely. Now, then there is a body that is in charge of budget monitoring and implementation. The first thing is preparing for the budget. Second thing is getting approval with the legislators. Then the fourth level is application and appropriation of the budget. Then after that one, then someone has to still implement, someone has to supervise, someone has to ensure that the due diligence is done. So we have all those mechanisms, as you have in the federal and state level, we also have it at the local level, to ensure that this project you guys said you are doing, and you have allocated money for, has it been done? So if it has been done, to what extent? You understand? So there is implementation that is monitoring at all levels. And at this age and time, technology is also being deployed at all levels.
Right.
To ensure the goal, we get the exact target.
Absolutely.
That we set also.
Now, we understand the importance of involvement, involvement of everyone that is concerned. Now, I'd like to ask you, how do you engage with stakeholders, such as community members, as well as local businesses, in this budgeting process to ensure there's adequate involvement of those that matter?
The key to successful government is engagement, especially at local level. And that is why the local government came into. Okay. That's why the local government came into. That's why the local government is essential in development, because number one, it's very difficult for the federal government even to go to the local people and bring them in for engagement. But what we do basically is to look at the exact needs of the people. So there's no way we can know the exactness of the people. Apart from the fact that we live with them, we are also from the community and we are closer to the people. But at least because we are closer to the people, we have the ability and the opportunity to know firsthand their problem. So, for instance, now let me give you an instance. My CDA is mostly in a very rural community, an agrarian society. So I know fully well that the challenges facing them is more of how to get the farm inputs out and creating a market for their product. So, and I also know that there is timing where you can do those things. For instance, now we are talking about grading of roads. Now we know that to grade rural roads is best suitable for the end of the year when the rains have stopped. So you cannot grade roads during the core rainy season.
Absolutely.
I'm bringing those instances for you to understand that there's nothing we do at the local level without thorough knowledge of the challenges of the people. You don't go and create a health center where there is no need for health center, where you abandon health center, where you abandon market where there is need for market. You understand? So whatever we are doing, we carry the people along because we are part of the people. We are important critical stakeholders, and the essence of the local government is to identify those needs. It might be difficult for people in the state and the federal to know what the people really need, but people at the local level, it's our job to identify those because we are closer to the people. So there is nothing we do at the local level that we don't carry the community along.
I'm glad that you talked about carrying everyone along. Now, this past weeks, state governments have had to create internally displaced persons camps because of flooding. So this is my question. What strategies do you employ to identify and mitigate potential risks and uncertainties in your budgeting processes?
No, we can't do it. We have to prepare for these natural disasters. We have to prepare for these external factors. You can't, if you create a budget without the external factors and this possibility of events, the budget is set to fail. So in our budget, we factor in the possibility of these occurrences.
Okay.
But however, all in collaboration with the emergency teams, the state emergency management authority and the other relevant authorities, we always ensure that we make provisions for incidents like this. So in case it happens, of course, we have a budget for it. And let's not forget, there's always an emergency fund and a contingency fund in the budget. So they are to take care of these natural occurrences that we cannot control.
Very, very true. One of the things that are important for any form of administration, whether at the local, state, or federal level, is transparency and accountability. It is very key. Now, how do you ensure transparency and accountability in your budgeting and financial management practices to ensure that there's no loophole anywhere whatsoever? All right, we lost the call with Honorable Maxwell.
But that was a very important question.
Yeah, we hope that we have him on, in a moment too, because I understand that the place of transparency and accountability cannot be thrown away. Everybody wants a government where they can hold accountable, even away from government, in every form of relationship. People want to have people that they can hold accountable. But we have Honorable Maxwell back on the line. Thank you for joining again.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll repeat my question. Now, how do you ensure transparency and accountability in your budgeting and financial management practices?
Corruption in public service is the main bane of underdevelopment in this country. We cannot hide away from it. But I will categorically state this now, what most people don't want to hear. You see, the problem with the people erroneously, I'm not saying the politicians are sent, but people erroneously assume that all the problems of this country start with the politicians. But from my experience in government and how things work, you need to look deep into the public service and the civil servants to know exactly where these problems are coming from. Because ideally, the politicians just implement, they just do the policies. The hand that implement are the civil servants and the public servants. So we are but as politicians now, we are now wiser in the sense that most of us now ensure that, you know, at the end of the day, to be our name that will be on the people's lips that well, Sheba, you know, they didn't do that. So we are now, we are not leaving the civil servants and public servants to implement alone. So nowadays we are following up, we are monitoring and ensure that the right thing is done.
Okay.
So that is why we are also, it's not, you know, it don't only be the executive. The executive is part of this, the state, the local legislators is part of it. And I'm happy that with the autonomy of the local government coming up, there'll be more power residing with the council authorities to be able to ensure that the right thing is done and people who err on their part are appropriately dealt with. So on our part, we do our due diligence. We ensure that we monitor, and so at least we're not leaving any stone unturned. So it will be difficult for anybody to steal or divert what is meant for the people under my watch.
Yeah. All right. As we slowly cruise to the end of this segment now, this is my question. What are some key performance indicators? It's called KPIs. What are the KPIs, you know, you use to measure the effectiveness of budgeting and forecast?
You know, the key problem with the budgeting and forecast we experience around there is mostly funding.
Aha.
So yeah, it's mostly funding. So you know, you can have the budgeting then. We ensure we create realistic budgets.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm.
But the key is but funding is essential also. So most of the time, by the time maybe if funding arrives on time, maybe the time funding arrives, maybe the project may have been delayed to some extent. But the base time remains that we try as much as possible to be as effective as possible. So when the funding comes, we'll make sure. So the way we do our KPIs, the way we weigh our performances is you know, when you are on the project, for instance, maybe, okay, this project is supposed to engulf, say 10 million, but I'm giving out 3, 4, 5 million. We'll see where the 5 million is supposed to get to now. You know, as we are building something, you know, so that is how we look at it.
All right.
Basically. So we track on our spending. So one way we measure our KPI is by effectively tracking
on
our spending.
All
so
right.
to ensure that what we invest is what we get.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tracking the spending, very, very important thing to do. On that note, we have come to the end of the conversation. We have exhausted our time. Thank you so much, Honorable Adelosoye Maxwell Ademola, for joining us this morning and for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your day.